What is going on, guys? It's your boy Mohados, and we're back with another video. Hope you guys are doing well. Today, we're going to be talking about the crypto market, and we're going to look at what's going on, what we can use to look at what's coming up, and also talk about sentiment. This is a new thing that I want to start doing every single weekend on a Saturday. Going to change up the content a little bit here. Always fun to switch things up. But again, like the first thing you want to ask yourself, of course, is what is going on this week? What is the sentiment like? A lot of people don't like talking about this stuff, but if you do a weekly check in, on your portfolio, you should definitely have something that's tracking your portfolio, tracking the performance. Because at the end of the day, if you want to level up, you must set yourself up in, pretty much a way that allows you to succeed, right? If you're not looking at analytics and looking at different sectors, of course, you're definitely doing yourself, you know, like a disservice. But again, right now the market is up 0.7%. And just looking at Bitcoin on the weekly here, we definitely have had a nice bounce. Now, let's talk about sentiment, right? Sentiment has been very, very bearish at this moment. Again, we have pretty much the ETF news coming out, everybody getting super excited. And now, as the week is coming to an end, and of course, here a day and an hour, there's been news that the US is ordered to sell a certain amount of Bitcoin. Mt. Gox is releasing their Bitcoins, and basically it's just a bunch of narratives that the price is probably going to start going down because of the release of Bitcoins, right? That's kind of been the narrative. Meanwhile, we do have news on the other end that BlackRock is accumulating Bitcoin. They have nearly 50,000 Bitcoins, approaching 2 billion in assets under management. And again, like it's interesting to see the narratives kind of commingled, but of course, the news that is bearish is louder, of course, than the news that is, probably the stuff you want to pay attention to as always, right? So it is interesting. We'll have to see how this closes in the weekly. The RSI is still very nice. I do think it's possible we continue to chop at this level for a little bit, but it will be interesting to see how this ages. Simply because should this turn into some type of head and shoulders over here, where we get back up here and bounce here, that will be very, very interesting. But I don't want to start assuming what exactly is going to happen next. So now that we know what sentiment looks like, now that we see Bitcoin is kind of recovering, the news has been wrong-footed. Let's talk about dominance, right? Because dominance is another element here that we want to pay attention to. And I'm actually going to pull it up over here, right here. Very good. So I'm actually going to use this one. Why not, right? So as you guys can see, we had these ranges play out very, very recently, where in the past, we saw range pretty much get up highs and then just pretty much crumble on himself. And then over here in 2023 is very, very interesting leading into 2024, how dominance played out, right? We just continued to go sideways. We got above this range here, definitely found a support at this level, broke out, of course, continuing to chop here. And now we're having a little bit of a hard time breaking above it, right? So right now I look at this on the 8 EMA here. The reason why I have the 8 EMA on this chart is simply because the 8 EMA does a very good job identifying the trend. And when you pair that with the weekly moving or the weekly charts, it does help you also look at what's going on, right? When the trend is pretty much flipping, you can see the 8 EMA doing a very good job. Like literally from 2022 December all the way up to right now, the 8 EMA has bounced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before finally going underneath it. And again, it's possible that we even get some type of structure that looks like this, where we might have a rejection and then slowly start going back up. But if you look at this on the weekly time frame, you can see clearly that we're getting bearish divergence here, which we didn't really get here, right? So that's the difference maker. And at the same time, we are under this 8 EMA. So the big question is, do we break down? In my opinion, I think this is probably going to start going down here. But of course, that'll be something that we have to watch out for, simply because it's not going to be as straightforward. And that's why I have a pretty much like a channel for my Discord that I just use to look at these charts on a weekly basis. This way I can always keep a logical bias, have a track record of what I believe is happening, but also I try to share this with you guys so that you guys can also benefit from this and maybe use any one of my strategies to help yourself. Which leads me to Ethereum, right? So Ethereum is also very important to track, simply because, as you guys are aware, if Ethereum is doing well, then most likely altcoins are going to follow. And right now we are sitting above a support level that I think is probably going to bounce off of. Our side does look a little bit shaky here because of the bearish divergence, and that's okay. I do think that it's going to take some time here to probably go sideways, but at the same time, I still think 3,500 is in the cards. And I want to take a look at BTC as well for ETH. This is a very big correction, and we're actually at support. So I do think this is going to flip right now. Right, this is the weekly zone, right above this level here. This is the last time we had a big move off this level. So we're definitely gonna get a bounce here, 100%. I do think we're gonna get a bounce at this level. That probably takes us back up to 0.55 sats. Right now we're at 0.53 or 0.53. So we'll see what happens as we get up there. At the end of the day, depending on how big the wicks are, how fast the moves happen, that can definitely like change my opinion overall. Though I do think we're going up because again, the last puzzle here or the last puzzle piece is total, right? When you look at total, guys, this is pretty much the name of the game because as I've spoken about in the past, this is the level you want to watch. This is the chart you want to focus all your energy on because if we're trading, um, you know, very bullishly on the total chart, that means the whole market is going to get ready to go up, which again, we're seeing a very, very interesting structure here. And as you can see, we're just chopping along here. When you look at this a little bit closer, we'll probably have some work to do here. I would like to see this be the bottom and us getting back above here, holding that level, and then continuing to make higher highs, right? So that's kind of what happens. The reason why these price acts like this usually is simply because this is like a liquidity hunt. Kind of takes a lot of people out the market, takes out their stop losses, and then they're sitting there waiting for it to go lower, but it actually never ends up going lower. And that's pretty much your inverse head and shoulders to continue the pattern, right? So um, that's definitely a heartbreaker when that happens, right? So you got to be careful of that. Also, this is stablecoin dominance. Another very good thing to use when you're looking at different, you know, like indicators, right? Because a lot of people don't focus on stablecoins. Stablecoins do a very good job of helping us look at what's happening in the market, right? Not just Bitcoin or a certain altcoin or a certain, you know, trend, but it's like another piece again that just helps the overall thesis, right? So right now, as you've seen in 2021, when we see a chop here on the weekly, that's pretty much people rotating, um, you know, in and out of crypto. But ultimately, it's interesting simply because this is when alt season happened. In this blue box, you can clearly see and look back at Bitcoin. Um, oops, wrong chart. At Bitcoin over here. Oops, wrong chart again. I'm gonna pull up my list here. This is right. Yeah, this is the area. So all the way from January 2021 to April 2021, this is like when most of the alts pretty much exploded. And you saw again laser eyes, diamond hands, Elon Musk talking about, you know, um, or pretty much aping into the market, right? Like Elon Musk jumps into crypto, everybody's so happy, everyone's changing their profile photos to laser eyes and this and that. And then we have a top come in here, right? Which is kind of funny. So that's pretty much how that happened, and it's definitely interesting because when you look at that in conjunction to the stablecoin dominance, this is very, very clear that yes, while the stablecoins dominance is going sideways, that's kind of when alt season took place. But before that was a big sell off, right? So right now we can see the big sell off, right? And then guess what? Is it this the level that we watch for where alt pretty much take the lead here, right? Is it possible that we continue to go sideways here or even go lower, before a massive alt season takes place? But again, we'll have to watch, right? Because I do believe that alts are going to take the lead here because again, total is pretty much at a level of consolidation. Total three, in my opinion, is very, very bullish because we don't have bearish divergence just yet. Total does have some bearish divergence there. So total three, in my opinion, is going to take the lead here, which basically tells me that altcoins are going to start running up. And I do think it's possible to go all the way up to 837 billion. Total two is also very interesting. This has more so of a divergence, but it's not that bad. This is also very bullish. I do think we're going to go much higher here off of this level. And again, name of the game is just patience. Take your time and understand that this is going to take much longer than most of us anticipate. And usually, when you have that mindset, it's just naturally going to play out in your favor, right? And some other things to look at. I don't really focus too much of my energy on the DXY or stuff like that, but I'm going to pull it up because there is definitely a relationship between I want to say crypto and the DXY. and that relationship, I think is on this chart here. You guys probably like, why you have so many layouts? Well, the reason why I do that is a psychological thing because sometimes what happens is you might see things differently if you use a different layout, right? So that is your tip of the day. And right now, again, we are seeing pretty much a nice rally here off of this level. And again, this is very clearly a support level. And I don't think we're going to go straight up here, right? I do think we're going to probably stop here and go down. And this is the area where we want to see pretty much all the rallies spot, like, all the rallies happen, right? At this level, right? When we're going back down again for the DXY and we go back down to 101, pretty much Bitcoin and alt and everything got to be running at that time because usually when this is going up, we're not really in a bull market, right? The market is pretty much going down. Everybody is, you know, kind of rotating back into dollars, and the strength is going back into the dollar, right? Which is why everyone's cashing out. And so the correlation just does exist, right? So when this starts going down, alt should be going up, and the crypto market should be going up. Just like right now, you can see that in the past 4 weeks, crypto kind of has been taking a rest, if you will, right? So we'll see what happens. It will be very interesting and fun. And other things that have happened in the market as well is actually just looking at the DGI, the Nasdaq, the S&P, all making brand new highs, right? So how long does this last for? We don't know, but I am starting to panic. I'm a little bit worried that we're not going to be able to get this massive run that we expect if Bitcoin doesn't get going, right? Because again, I do believe Bitcoin's run is going to be limited. And I'll be making a video on Bitcoin itself, just focusing on Bitcoin, nothing else, and what I think is going to happen in literally 4 days. So that's something just to take a look at. This is more so a market overview, but you know, um, this is not the best thing, being that Bitcoin is trading as low as it is. I definitely wanted to see Bitcoin much higher, being that the S&P has made an all-time high already. So we'll see what happens here again. It will be fun and it will be interesting, but I do think it's possible that Bitcoin is probably going to continue chopping to the upside here. But we're running out of time. And just another chart I want to add into this series. Let's take a look at gold too, because again, gold is literally close to its all-time highs. And it does look very interesting as it trades at this level. I don't know exactly what to expect for gold, but so much pressure to the upside, right? I mean, just looking at this on the weekly chart, this is very bullish simply because since 2022, you can clearly see it's been making higher lows. So maybe we do come back down here. Who knows? So long as it makes a higher low, we're definitely breaking through that all-time high, which I do think is going to happen eventually. Because again, that's just the name of the game. So with that, I appreciate you guys for making it to the end. If you like this kind of content, if you want to see this kind of stuff weekly, it'd definitely be very, very, good for you to like this so I can get some feedback from you guys. But as always, haru haru haru. Peace.